Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video, we're going to start collecting Warhammer 40,000, and today we're going to take a look at how to start a Black Templars army of Space Marines using the contents of the Leviathan box set. Now, in this video, we're going to go through the contents of the box set, and we have done a couple of videos already on this, so there will be a little bit of similarities, though. We will talk about a couple of units that have impact in how we need to use them in a Black Templars force. But if you've watched our other videos we've already done, this may just be a little bit of doubling up on some of the information we've already said. But on top of that, we're then going to look at some other units we can use to expand upon after this initial box set, and then we'll finally finish off the video with a little sample army list of 1500 points for you to use, hopefully as some inspiration for starting your own Black Templars army in Warhammer 40k. And so, before we get into anything talking about the units in this box set, I will talk about one unit in particular, and that is the Librarian and Terminator army, which when we play Black Templars, they don't particularly like Psykers, and they find witches a little bit needing of burning at the stake. And so you can't use the Librarian and Terminator armor in this particular box set. It is just one model you won't be able to use. There's still plenty of other stuff in this box set, but if you're wishing to play Black Templars, this is just something you're going to have to accept. And so, we're not going to bother talking about that model, because there's no need to. We have a Captain in Terminator armor. This model is really cool. We've got toughness 5, 6 wounds, and it can take a variety of different combat and shooting weapons, though in this particular box set, the model will be armed with the Relic weapon, which is 6 attacks, hitting on a 2+, at strength 5, minus 2 AP, damage 2. You also have the Storm Bolter as well, which is going to provide you with a rapid fire weapon with 2 shots, 2+ to hit, strength 4, no AP, and damage 1. Now, you have the Rights of Battle ability as well, where once per battle round, one unit from your army with this particular special rule can have a stratagem used on them for 0 CP. If another unit from your army has already been targeted by that stratagem in that phase, you can still use it on this particular unit. You also get the ability to reroll charge rolls made for this model's unit. Now, the other characters that we have access to and that we can use in this box set, the first of these is the Lieutenant with Combi Weapon. The Lieutenant with Combi Weapon here is a little bit of a narrative sort of piece for this particular box set with the whole story of Leviathan and everything that's happening here. So we don't have the anti-Tyranids 4+ rule, which is really cool, and anti-infantry on his combi weapon as well, so he's pretty cool at taking out Nids, which is nice. But his big thing is the priority objective identified, or where at the start of your first battle round, if your army contains one or more models with a special rule, you need to select an objective on the battlefield to become the priority objective. And until the end of the battle, while a friendly Adeptus Astartes unit is within 6 inch of this model, and they're targeting a unit that is on the objective that is designated as the priority objective, they can reroll their wound rolls of 1. You also have the Evade and Survive ability, which allows you to, if anyone ends a move, fallback, or advance move within range of 9 inch of this particular little character, you can make a normal move, which is really cool for getting them out of charge ranges. We then have the Apothecary Biologist. This is really cool, a Gravis armored model that can be put into all the different Gravis units, so aggressors, eradicators, and heavy intercessors. This will provide lethal hits to the unit, and also if this unit ever is in a unit that kills something in close combat, you will change this particular model's objective control from 3 to 9, which is pretty cool. Now we then get the Infernus squad, and we get 10 of these Marines in here. They're armed with Pyroblasters, which funnily enough actually first became available to us in the Black Templars Crusader box set, which is really cool. But they're all armed with them, so you've got a 12-inch range, D6 shots with Ignores Cover and Torrent, meaning they auto-hit. Strength 5, no AP, damage 1, but they have a cool thing, if they actually ever hit a unit, they can force Battle Shock tests. We then have Sternguard Veterans, who are going to have a couple of combi weapons in this particular box set. They're anti-infantry 4+, and you've also got a Sternguard Heavy Bolter in there as well for some nice higher strength, strength 5, minus 1 AP, damage 2 weaponry. They've got the Bolter Drill rule, which is really cool. If they ever shoot something in the shooting phase and wipe out that unit, they can then immediately shoot again. So generally how you would use this ability is you would, say, target a unit that is almost wiped out, wipe out those last 2 or 3 models from it, and then target a fresh unit, making sure you get that double shot. You don't want to target a unit from start to finish, because you might not wipe it out and lose your second lot of shooting, so it's better to target something damaged and then go into it. Now, we then also get 5 brand new Terminators inside this box set. They're a really fun unit. They can go with our Captain nicely. They're going to be equipped with an assault cannon, though they do have other options for ranged weaponry. In the particular box set, you get an assault cannon. The assault cannon is 24-inch, 6 attacks, ballistic skill 3+, strength 6, no AP, and damage 1. You got the ability with your teleport homer at the start of the battle. You can put your teleport homer down on the battlefield, and they can arrive from deployment near that particular homer for 0 CP from deep strike, which is cool. And they also can't have any hit modifiers or modifiers to the ballistic skill or weapon skill applied to them. Now, lastly, we have the Ballistus Dreadnought, which is a shooting version of the Dreadnought we have for the army. Ballistus Dreadnought is going to be able to provide us with some really good anti-tank weaponry with its Ballistus Lash Cannon, which is damage D6+1, and the Ballistus Missile Launcher using crack missiles is also damage D6. It also has Ballistic Strike, where each time its model makes a ranged attack that targets a unit that is not below half strength, you can re-roll the hit rolls, which is pretty cool because its missile launcher can be used as a frag blast weapon as well for 2d6 shots, ballistic skill 3+, so being able to re-roll those hit rolls on, say, a large horde when it's targeting with that is pretty cool. Today's video is brought to you by Gap Games, a fantastic retailer in Australia for a variety of different miniature war games. If you'd like to help support the channel, we have an affiliate link where by clicking on and purchasing, you'll help support the channel, but you'll also help support Gap Games, which is a fantastic servant to the community. And so, where to look to next after that initial box set with Leviathan? First thing is first, I think we're going to need to grab a unit, put that Primaris Apothecary Biologist in it, and the Aggressor Squad for me is the perfect choice in this particular circumstance. So the Aggressors, first of all, are going to be pretty combat orientated, which is really nice. So they're going to give us the access to either 2 different weapon options, and this can be either the Flamestorm Gauntlets, which I think is very Black Templar for me, D6+1 shots with Torrent, meaning they auto hit, strength 4, no AP, and damage 1, but they do have close quarters fire where they actually get +1 AP if they're shooting the closest eligible target. They also have Power Fists in combat, so this means they're a unit that can actually do some damage. I think they're definitely going to be a nice combat unit, with Black Templars being a combat-focused Space Marines force, and indeed wanting the Apothecary Biologist to kill a unit in combat so he gets that additional objective control power. And so next up we have the Emperor's Champion. The Emperor's Champion is a really fun character. First of all, it can lead a bunch of different units from Assault Intercessors, Crusader Squads, Sword Brethren, and Sternguard Veterans. You've got a lot of different options you can put him in, especially with the sample army list we're looking at the end of the video. But he does have his Black Sword, which is going to either have 6 or 10 attacks, depending whether he goes for strike or sweep. And the strike is actually really cool because he actually has precision when he does that. So it'll be a 2+ to hit, strength 8, -3 AP, damage 3 with precision is really nice. Now, once per phase, when a melee attack is allocated to this model and a saving throw has failed, that damage characteristic will just become 0 as he parries it off with his sword. And Sigismund's means each time this model makes a melee attack that targets a character, you can add 1 to wound rolls. So this is really cool, meaning, you know, his weapon skill 2+ and strength 8, he'll generally be wounding a lot of smaller characters and even some of the bigger things on a 2+, which is really nice. Now, we also have the Primaris Crusader Squad. I think these are going to be a really nice unit to add into the force. First of all, this is probably the most iconic unit for Black Templars. It is the Initiates and the Neophytes working together with the Sword Brother leading them. Now, you have a variety of different upgrades. Your Sword Brother has the option for either taking his giant power weapon that he's got, or he can choose to replace it with a Pyre pistol, or indeed he can go with some of the other cool things on the unit, which could be things like adding a Pyre Blaster into the unit, or indeed putting a Power Fist on one of the other Neophytes. Other than that, you do have the options between a standard sort of bolter, or indeed close combat weaponry for your weapon with chainsword and heavy bolt pistol on a lot of your units as well. So a nice well-rounded unit that can be really tooled up for some combat with a variety of different heavy hitting weapons. Speaking of combat units, we have the Primaris Sword Brethren. For me, these are a really powerful unit. So you've got the options with your Castellan, the unit leader. You can have a combi weapon and chainsword, a combi weapon and mastercrafted power sword, or the heavy bolt pistol and mastercrafted power sword. For me, I think it's the combi weapon and the power sword. This gives him some cool damage and anti-infantry rules. But your unit can also have 2 Pyre pistols in it, can have a plasma pistol, and it can have a thunder hammer, and every model in the unit can also take those power weapons, which is really cool, giving you a large variety of different weaponry inside the unit. Now, the last thing I want to talk about in this particular box set, something to add, is going to be the Primaris Ancient. We are down a few points on the initial box set, which is close to 1,000 points or when we take all the models, but obviously we're not taking everything, so we're going to need to look at another unit to potentially bring in here. And for me, this is the Primaris Ancient. I think he's actually going to provide us with something really nice for the Force. But his big rule is going to be the Astartes banner, where while he's joined to a unit, he gives them objective control +1, and the Unbreakable duty means while he's within range of an objective model or within 6 inches of the center of the battlefield, he gives his unit Feel No Pain 4+, which is really cool. And so here we have our sample army list, obviously playing with the Black Templars, and we've got the Righteous Crusaders detachment here. Now, Captain in Terminator armor is going to be our Warlord for the Force. We've also given this particular model one of the enhancements we've taken for the Force, which is going to be Tannhauser's Bones. Now, this is a really nice enhancement. It is the most expensive at 35 points, but I think it really does a lot for the Force. What this does is each time an attack is allocated to the bearer, we just halve the damage, which is super cool. And while the bearer is leading a unit, if the Uphold Your Honor vow is active, you also give the Feel No Pain 5+ ability to models in the unit. We've then got our Lieutenant with Combi Weapon and the Apothecary Biologist, who we've taken with the last 15 points we had spare, the Perdition's Edge. What this does is we improve the strength and armor penetration characteristic of the melee weapons by this model by 1, helping it kill something in close combat. And if the Suffer Not the Unclean to Live vow is active, we can also add one to this model's attacks. Other than that, for characters, we have the Emperor's Champion in there, and we have our Lieutenant with Combi Weapon and the Primaris Ancient. Battleline wise, we have our Primaris Crusader squad, fully tooled up to the nines with the Sword Brother with Power Sword and Pyre Pistol. We've then got the Pyre Blaster and Power Fist on some initiates. And then we've got everyone equipped with the Astartes Chainswords and Pistols. Other infantry wise, we go with the Infernus squad, Stoneguard Veterans, and the Terminator squad, all the models as standard from the Leviathan box set. We then add in a Primaris Sword Brethren squad with Combi Weapon and Mastercrafted Power Weapon on the Castellan. We then got 2 Pyre Pistols and a Plasma Pistol and a Thunderhammer in the unit as well. An Aggressor squad there with Flamestorm Gauntlets, and lastly a Ballistus Dreadnought rounding out the Force at a perfect 1500. Now, if you've got some ideas on how to play Black Templars and what you would do with this initial box set, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And so that is the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to come chat more with me, we have a Discord server for the channel, and that is linked down in the video's description. Also linked down in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel. This is either via Patreon or YouTube members using one of our affiliate links and codes down there, like Baron of Dice, Gap Games, or Mithras Games, or by supporting us directly on Patreon or YouTube members. If you'd like to do any of those, we have links for that all in the description. And as a special thank you to our Patrons and YouTube members, we'd like to give them all a shout out. So thank you to our Patreons, Soren, Kenny Lowell, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Q Dynamic, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Benjamin Swallers, Red Martin, Iron Grinch, Colorblind Magic, Grimscold, and Andy C. And our YouTube members, Greenrich Gaming, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny84, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, James Tillman, Disco, and John Castle. Lastly, a special thanks to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork you see on the channel. Once again, everyone, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the Grey. Ciao for now.